right, welcome to the Hunt360 podcast. I'm E3 King. I'm here with founder of Hunt360, Jeremy Williams. And we're also here with a special guest over from Gunwerks, Jeremy Winters. Jeremy, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me over here today.
Yeah, glad to have you.
Well, I want to say this is a very special guest to me because I've met Jeremy several years ago at the Gunwerks Long Range Shooting School, where I took my son Flint to do some long range practice, and Jeremy really took a lot of time with my son and me, and taught us how to use the Gunwerks rifles, and we just become friends and start following one another on social media, and just always stayed in touch. And it's been a pleasure to know Jeremy, and I'm excited to share all his knowledge to our listeners here.
Yeah, it's been a pretty fun ride, through this long range game. It's been pretty cool following a whole genre of hunting from the very beginning till now. And, we get to meet guys like yourself and your son, and, we take a great deal of pride in not only, producing the product that you use, but, showing everybody how to use it. And then just, some people, like me and you, we just became friends. We just hit it off, whatever it was. And, we've stayed in touch ever since. So it's been a good ride.
Yeah, it has been a good ride. So I want our listeners to learn a little bit about you and what got you into the long range shooting, and eventually into where you're at now at Gunwerks and building these awesome rifles.
Well, I'll admit it. I'll be the first to admit it. I'm one of the luckiest guys alive. I get to shoot for a living and hunt for a living, and there isn't many people out there that can truly say that they actually get paid to do that. Man, how long have I been doing it? 15 years full time.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's pretty amazing. Began clear back before anybody was seeing it on TV. I'm from Wyoming, northwest Wyoming, up by Cody and Yellowstone National Park, and I've always been an avid hunter, and I kind of just stumbled into it. I was on an elk hunt, and there was a couple of us on one ridge, and there's a pretty good 350 class bull on another ridge, and I'm sure. I assumed they were making the stock plan just like I was, and then pretty soon I hear a shot ring out and the bull just dropped in his tracks, and I couldn't believe it. I didn't have a rangefinder back then or anything, but it had to be 800 yards. And so that piqued my interest. So I followed him over there. They probably thought I was a stalker or something, but I followed them over there and to figure out what was going on and how they were doing it. And it happened to be John Burns, and anybody that is in this long range game knows that he was probably the first to do it commercially and put it out on TV. And I just lucked out, and we became friends and got to hanging out with him, and and that brought me into the hunting world, I guess. I actually started as a cameraman, a videographer for Best of the West, and I did that for 4 years until I moved into the sales side, and then as Best of the West, split with Gunwerks, then I stayed with Gunwerks and just been, in sales. And now what I do is I verify every rifle that leaves the facility. So if you've bought a Gunwerks rifle, I've shot it. and I did the accuracy validations and made sure it was good to go. So
that's a pretty cool thing. That's a very cool job to say that you've shot every rifle that everybody owns that comes out.
Yeah. It's a stressful job for sure. Some days, you're just not on your A game shooting and you're kind of stressed out about it, but learned some good techniques over the years and just happen to be good at it. And so that's kind of, last 3 or 4 years at Gunwerks, that's where I've been, is on the finishing rifle, technician side. And hopefully Aaron will keep me around for a few more years, ride this out.
I'm sure. I know. What about, so you mainly stay are you going to be at the new facility they're building, or how's all that training?
Pretty exciting times for us at Gunwerks. You can probably ask Aaron. You can ask any of us. We've wanted a new facility for years and years, and it's finally come to fruition. I am lucky. They built me a underground 100-yard, 3-bay range, and so I'll be moving to Cody. Well, commuting to Cody with some of the rest of the guys, and be doing most of the work there. We still have the long range verifications to do, so probably spend 1 or 2 days at the the range everybody knows, from on TV and stuff for all the schools. All the the training courses happen. I'll still do that a couple days a week to do all the long range verifications, but spend most of the accuracy and testing and stuff will be done in Cody now. So
sweet.
Yeah, big step for us actually. We've grown so much. I think we're really close to 65 employees now. And when we first started there at Gunwerks, I think there's 3 or 4 of us,
Nice.
not very many. And it's grown to a great company. We have a great boss, Aaron. I got to send a shout out to him. He takes very good care of us. Always been good to us all these years, and understands that the employees are the heart of the business, and he's always treated it like a family, and it's always felt that way. And so I think us as employees, we do a little better work, because we take pride in what we do. So
I agree 100%. When you feel respected and appreciated, you give it back in return.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I know I met Aaron for the first time the other day in Dallas Safari Club show, and just over the top, genuinely nice guy to me, and he didn't know who I was, or just treated me like a genuine great person, and I was just looking at a rifle in the booth.
Nice, good.
He was just a cool dude, a lot younger than I thought he would be. To be honest,
we're getting up there. Yeah, a lot of people don't know Aaron and myself and Mike. I mean, we're first cousins. We're related.
Really?
Yeah, we went to school together.
That's
Grew up in
awesome.
Burlington. So we've known each other forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
That's really good. Really good. And so, I know E3's got some. E3 has all kinds of good questions that he wants to get involved.
Get into the meat and potatoes of it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, so what is one of the biggest misconceptions that you usually find with people in long range shooting? Say when they get to the school or get out there that they realize, or
Well, maybe not when they get to the school. We started the training because we saw this one thing that was needed in the industry. When we first started doing it, we didn't even offer the training. We just, here's a package, go shoot it to 1,000 yards. And in reality, that does not happen. There's so many other variables that need to happen before someone can, ethically, take an animal at those distances. And so we saw this need for some training, and that's where the training came from. The biggest misconception, I think, is that you can go buy one of these systems, and the market's saturated, right? Everybody builds one, right down to the big manufacturers, Savage, Remington. All the optics manufacturers have a long-range shooting something. And I see this big misconception in the industry I can just go buy it and I'm proficient. And that's where we push pretty hard. Like, you buy a system from us, as a salesman, I probably bugged Jeremy pretty hard. Like, listen, you've got half the step, you've got half of what you need. We've got to show you how to use that properly. And so that's become a big strong push for Gunwerks, is that we want to make this training accessible to you so that you can succeed in the field. We're a business. We want, I won't lie about that. We want the return customers. We want you to come buy something else from us. If you have a good experience when you go out and a successful hunt, as you do that training, then that turns you into that customer that wants to come back. So the training was twofold. One, that you just needed it. You plain and simple, you got to have it. And number two, it gives you a good experience out there, and then makes you one of those lifelong customers, that we like. So
what does that training look like? If I show up and I'm gonna get it from y'all, how does that work?
We make it really easy for you. We, clear up until level 3s and level 4s, which I'll explain in just a little bit. We supply the guns, ammo, everything. We just show up, and we'll supply the rest. Right? Level 1, we're going to get into the fundamentals. We're going to do a lot of positional stuff, some bench work. Because how you shoot at the bench directly translates into how you're going to shoot in the field. So we'll get all those so-called bad habits that you have. Some guys are good shooters, some aren't, but we'll get all those bad habits out of the way. In level 1, we will be shooting, steel all the way out to, the far targets, on our range, in level 1. So don't think you're not going to do a lot of shooting, because I don't think we hold them back at all. And then level 2 gets a little more advanced. We start talking about some of those downrange effects, wind, Coriolis, spin drift, some of those effects that a lot of guys don't realize take a big toll on that bullet as it spends a lot of time in flight. And so level 2 is pretty nice because it pretty much gives you the tools to now go effectively start practicing and, hunting in the field. Usually we don't get a lot of guys that just come and do level 1 through 4. We have some time frames set up to do that. That's a lot of training. That's a solid weeks full of training. We don't have a lot of guys that do that. Usually what happens is we get a guy comes to a level 1, level 2. They'll go hunting in the fall. They'll come back the next year and say, you know what? It was really nice to shoot off your tripods at the range, but when I got out there and I had my shooting sticks, man, I was pretty wobbly and I needed something different, right? And so that's where our level 3 and the level 4s with the experience comes in. Our level 3 is you bring all your own stuff. You bring the pack that you're going to use, the gun you're going to use, the rest you're going to use. And then we're going to show you in field situations. We have a ranch that we lease. We're going to take you out there. We're going to show you in field situations how to use your gear. So now we're going to eliminate those questions that they have, how do I make my stuff work? And then level 4, or not really level 4, we call it our experience classes. They combine hunts with, with the training. So you get somebody that's new to the shooting or new to even hunting. Like one of our more popular ones is we have a hunt in New Mexico. And so we do a couple days of training at the Whittington Center in New Mexico. And then we go do 2 or 3 days of antelope hunting. And so it'll give a guy the training he needs, and then he can directly the next day turn around and put that to use out in the field. And so those have we've added more and more of those experiences every year, because those have become kind of that missing link we see in all the training out there. Even our training was missing that conversion from I'm at the range to I'm in the field. And so those experience hunts, where, most of the time we've got at least one of us out there helping the different groups of guys out there on the hunt, so if they have questions and stuff, we can help them out on the hunt. And then after that, most guys are willing to put in the time after that and just stay proficient. It's not like riding a bike. If you don't shoot a lot and keep those, all those things mentally practiced, so to speak, in your head, you'll lose them. And then you'll have to come back and do the course all over again.
Yeah, so you can teach it, but it's up to the hunter to continue to practice.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've been shooting full time for 15 years and I learn new things all the time. It's a growing experience. And if you don't do it, you lose it. That's for sure.
So we live on the East Coast, so we don't have the opportunities to shoot the range just like you can just go out to a ranch and shoot off long range shots. So it's a little bit more difficult to us to find those locations to do that back east. So the opportunities to come to your school really are beneficial to the East Coast people.
Yeah. For you guys on the East Coast where you don't have access to a lot of public land, we're pretty lucky. If I didn't have the range, I don't know how many millions of acres of BLM. I could just go out my back door and shoot to 5 miles if I wanted to. That is a big opportunity we have out west. But we like to extend that invite. It's like, you guys, are limited by, the distances you can shoot. But I think the course would still benefit even if you went back home, back east, and only had 100 or 200 yards to shoot in a wooded area or across a field. Those fundamentals still come into play.
I agree. I mean, there's practice that needs to be happening, but that it's just something about start reaching out to 800 yards. At home, we're lucky to 300-yard shots. But still the fundamentals, like you say, just setting up on your bags, practicing on different terrain, getting your elbows set, all that. All that. Like you say, it's like you just got to stay on it.
Yeah. I'm pretty spoiled living out west. I would imagine. Most of you guys from back east, it's probably a dream or, to come out west and hunt eventually, I would think. And that's a good place to start. If a guy wants to come out and hunting out west, sign up for one of our experience courses. We do an aoudad, an antelope. We do a lot of experience stuff like that. That'd probably be a good place to start.
I agree.
Get into, have a hunt to go on and then get some training for that hunt. it'd probably be pretty hard to beat for a first-time experience, I bet.
And not only that, I mean, the camaraderie that you create around the environment you put yourself in that trip. I mean, it's it'll be a trip you'll never forget.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Just around great people, very educated in what they're doing.
Yep, and then the next year you can come out and do it yourself, apply for your own tags, and you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, that's right. So you got any, I know you went on a Dall sheep hunt last year and got a Dall sheep.
Yeah,
so
finally.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, man, the Dall sheep story. It's kind of it's not really a running joke, but it's like I'm the cursed guy at the office. It took me 4 Dall sheep hunts, so you can say that I have as much in my Dall as most people have in their stone. But, a lot of people would be pretty upset about that or down on that, but they were hunts, and we saw sheep. We didn't see legal sheep sometimes. I got to spend 10 days in a little pup tent with Aaron Davidson, because of the rain, and didn't get out for 10 days. Just laid in there. It's like it just happens. It's hunting, and just wasn't my lucky. It wasn't meant to be for me for those first 3 times, and I lucked out and went with the right out. Another outfitter, our 4th Dillinger River. And was able to secure a really nice full curl, double broom, 10-year-old nice ram. So
that's awesome. I just thought the pictures were awesome. I mean, it was just like a great opportunity.
So on to the next, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the next will be, but
I don't
know about sheep, but like to put together, try to do a moose hunt in the next few years.
Oh, yeah.
Mountain caribou, always been top of my list. So somewhere in there maybe.
So what caliber rifle you be building to go for your moose hunt?
Well, I'm one of those guys so I'm a 6.5 PRC. I'm a 6.5 guy. I've always been. When they aired that first television show I did with Aaron and I shot a bull elk at 930 yards with a 6.5 284. And when they aired that was the longest shot ever publicized on TV. And man, we got some hate mail for that, but I've always been a 6.5 guy. So I've got a 6.5 PRC now. I don't know if I'd take that on a moose hunt or not. I've got a 30 Nosler as well. Shoots a big 215 grain hybrid.
Yeah.
And we've killed some moose with it. So I don't know. We'll see if I'm feeling saucy or not and take the little gun. But, I'm partway through another build. Building a little 7 SAUM to match my 6.5 Creedmoor. So little 7mm, shoots 180 grain bullet. And so that could be a good combo, for, moose or whatever. I've done my time with the big heavy guns, and that's not for me anymore. So small and light and easy to pack. That's what I'm into now.
I know I was fortunate enough to get a rifle to take my son on a mule deer hunt this year, and it's just amazing how great they shoot. We got a 6.5 PRC, and Flint shot a mule deer, like 365 some yards, and one shot through the heart. I mean, just downhill angle, and we captured all on video as well. We got a video we're gonna release of it, but it's just amazing. When I grew up hunting with a lever action 30-30, you might go maybe 50, 60, 100 yards. With now you just adjust the scope real quick. I mean, literally within seconds, and you're dead on, and it just makes
no guesswork.
There's no guessing, and it's ethical. It's ethical for the animal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you're not shooting 5 times at something, in hopes.
Yeah,
I guess you would say.
Yeah, when we first started doing it, customers kept coming back to us and saying, "Where have you been? Where have you been?" And everybody thinks back on those hunts where, what if, right? What if? Yeah. And it's true. Being able to do this and have the right equipment, and being able to extend your normal range. It does up the percentages, A lot of us have been, I've been in this game for a long time, and I can probably count on one hand the animals I've shot at or near 1,000. It really doesn't happen that often. But that 200 to 500 happens all the time. So if you can be proficient at the range at 8 or 9, it's just like shooting a bow, right? You practice at 80 and you're you're solid at 40. You know, those same principles apply. You practice at 8, 9, and 1,000. 4, 5, and 6 are a piece of cake, right? And 4, 5, and 600 yards, if you can shoot that consistently and reliably, you're going to up your percentages on hunts. I mean, there's just no way around it.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know, to have the ability to do it is just to go on these trips. You got so much invested in these trips, so much time you got involved. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Why that investment in the rifle will last forever, and then it's just, you know, you won't miss those opportunities that were 400 or 500 yards that were not capable of.
Yeah.
You know, so just it really turns up the key to be able to be more successful on your trip, make more of your time saver.
Yeah, it is. You know,
not only mention walking and stalk blow.
Well, it changes the way you hunt, right?
Yeah,
and so before I did this, you know, I wore boots out, you know, because you had to go to that other ridge, you know. And now it's like I'll get on a map, find a ridge in the middle where I can cover 2 ridges on either side, and I can hunt 1 ridge and cover 3, you know. And so it's changed the way I look at, you know, when I go into a hunt. It's changed the way I do things. For the better, I think. You know, I'm not expending as much energy out there. I'm being more efficient with it. And then if I do need to make that shot, you know, at 8,000, 9,000 yards, I can get it done and have a successful hunt.
And it's no different than having a spotting scope. I mean, years ago, you didn't have a spotting scope, and you had to walk. Then you get over there, and it's like, oh, that wasn't worth the walk because it wasn't what I wanted. But now you got a spotting scope. Everybody carries a spotting scope because it's
a necessity
it's a
now,
necessity.
right?
I mean,
I wouldn't even imagine going on a hunt without one.
Exactly. I mean, it's the same way with the rifle. Why would you not do the same as you treat it with a great spotting scope?
Absolutely.
So, but it's just Gunwerks has been a great company to work with, and just the great products. I mean, they're top of the line.
Thank you. We strive pretty hard. Like I said earlier, this long-range hunting game is pretty saturated. We take pride in leading that charge, you know, but it's also a lot of pressure, right? We've got to always have the newest and greatest, and you know, we've got to be the ones setting the example, and you know, and having the products that everybody you know tries to replicate. And so that pushes. You know, we're lucky Aaron, our owner's an engineer, and that's the way his mind works. And so it's always, you know, always needs to be better. We've never built anything perfect. If you ask Aaron, I would beg to differ. You know, that old LR1000 stock he first came up with was perfect in my opinion. And then we got to the climber stock, and then now, dang it, now it's perfect. But Aaron, he's not that way. It's like, well, what are we going to do next, and how are we going to improve this? You know, it's never perfect for him, and that's good in my opinion. You know. It keeps us at the forefront of all this technology and everything, and hopefully we can continue to lead the industry, you know, in this genre that we hunt in. So,
as we build Hunt360, I can relate to that. I can always vision, once I see what my vision when it came to life, then I can visualize, well, I can make this, do this now, you know, and just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And it just makes things better and better and better.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I hope it does anyway.
Yeah, that's good. Progress is always good.
We actually had a meeting last night. We went and bought a dry race board, a 8-foot long dry race board, and drew out a whole master plan of another phase of a Hunt360 on the dinner table last night.
This just came to you, or just over dinner, huh?
No. It was like a ride across Nevada.
Oh,
where it started coming when we was really bored.
Yeah, that ride between Vegas and Reno, there's nothing to look at, so your mind can tend to wander a little bit.
Yeah, I've done that one a few times. That's a good one.
So we took our mind that was wandering in the notes, and then last night we drew it all out on. I'm a visual, so I have to see it all laid out. So I love a dry race board, and just draw it all out, then take photos of it so we don't lose it, and then build it to reality.
And then make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen.
Good.
So. It's just, I understand his point, what you just said about pushing, make things better.
Never good enough, right? Can't stop.
There are things that are good enough. My kids are good enough.
I hope I've done a good enough job, right?
Yeah, I hope I have. I definitely hope I've done. I feel like my kids are they're the world to me, so I think I've done good enough.
Yeah, you've done a good job.
Well, we sure appreciate having you here to talk today. It's good to learn about Gunwerks and catching up. And,
yeah, especially catching up. We live on kind of opposite sides of the ponds, so to speak. So it's nice to come to these shows and get to see everybody. And
it does. It's great to shake hands and catch up with everybody face to face instead of just technology-wise.
Yeah, just throwing this out there. That spring bear hunt's still on the table.
All right.
Anytime you want to come on down, it's always open.
I'm gonna take you up on it. I'm gonna take you up on it. Yeah, my son, he loved to shoot a nice black bear. He needs to get that done soon.
Good. Well, you let me know. We'll make it happen.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeremy. And it was I don't get to say that very often since I'm Jeremy. I don't get to say Jeremy very often. It was good to have you here today.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me, and good luck with Hunt360. And
well, also tell us where everybody can find the Gunwerks platforms.
Gunwerks.com. We've just launched a new website with a new gun builder, which is pretty cool. You can go on there and build any gun you want, price it out for yourself, switch the options. That's the best place. There's an 800 number in there that puts you to our sales guys if you have any questions. And then if you know the secret passcode and the secret handshake, you can get my number. There's only 2 people or 3 people that know that, so and you can get the real nuts and bolts of how everything works. So that's how you do it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, sir.
Yep.
And enjoy the rest of the show here at the Sheep Show.
Thank you, Jeremy.